Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on YouTube? It's Filthy and we're back with another video. Today we're looking at a Season 27 Barb guide. This is the Legacy Dreams HOTA speed builds. Enjoying playing this quite a lot. This is kind of how I solo farm my gear for the Barb if I'm not getting a spec as a C-Barb somewhere. It hits really hard, it's an awful lot of fun. It's a build that is really powerful off-season, but this season, because of the way this the theme is, with the Hammer of the Ancients extra power that we can get on the Sanctified item, it's a ton of fun to play, visually really nice. It does have a couple of issues, not maybe the easiest thing, but we can do our best to make it as easy as we can. As always, before we do get going, thumbs up brightens my day. So this, of course, is a Legacy of Dreams build, so we need the gem, we need it max level, and it means that we need ancient items. Now, I've got 2 missing, I think. I, for the love of me, have not found an ancient convention of elements with double crit and cooldown on, but it is what it is. I'm working on it. Hopefully at some point I do get it, and I would obviously get it augmented ASAP. And then the same for the amulet. This is the best squirts I've found. I've played 1700 Paragon on a bunch of different characters. This is my best squirts. I probably should spend some of my bounty materials re-rolling it. I do have a few saved up, so I certainly could do. But I want to play all 7 classes, so I've been kind of trying to tease my materials across. But they're 2 extra points. So I'm missing 2. The rest are all ancient and are augged. The only slight exception here is the gloves, which I think I got on my Necromancer. So they've got main stat intelligence. They do have cooldown and double crit on, so I've just left them as is. The only other major component we have here is the Remorseless. This allows us for an 800% increased damage on Hammer of the Ancients, which is our damaging skill. And we have to have Wrath of the Berserker up, so this one here. We also have to have Call of the Ancients up, so both of those things up for this 800% damage modifier. That means you have to go cooldown and cooldown big time, because you need both of these up, otherwise you won't do any damage. Incidentally, you'll also be really squishy, because we get a 50% damage reduction because of the Mortix Brace for Wrath of the Berserker, because we have every room for it, including the damage reduction room. And we also get a 50% damage reduction because we have the Fury of the Ancients shoulders, so that allows us to generate Fury from them, so we can take this together as 1 rune for 50% damage reduction. So if you think about it, 50% here, 50% here, it's 75% damage reduction. So if you drop these 2 things simultaneously, it's like not having your Band of Might, because that of course gives 80% damage reduction after we do the Furious Charge. Now, with all our mitigation layers up, we are incredibly tanky, so we can do the squirts on 110s, 115s. I take the squirts up all the way up to 140. That's as far as I've gone with the build on Trash Clear, and the squirts doesn't really seem to hinder me at 140. You know, it is incredibly tanky. Also for damage on the Hammer of the Ancients, we've got the Gavel of Judgment. So basically, if we hit through a few enemies, we get Fury Regen, which is imperative to be able to keep smashing out the Hammer of the Ancients. We get a nice big modifier on this. Now, the Sanctified power we want, there are 2 that are potentially usable, but for speeds, the speed builds for solo, I really like the Shockwave one. Simply because 1, I don't have to work Whirlwind in and worry about grouping stuff up, I just smash away. And 2, it looks really cool when you get in there and you see the big explosion. It is very satisfying to watch. Another modifier for Hammer of the Ancients is, of course, Braces of the First Men. We get 50% attack speed and 500% increased damage. In the loot pool at level 1, it's a really easy item to get. This rolls on a range. Mortix is just a flat. Wrath of the Berserker gets every rune, so much more likely you're going to get yourself a nice Mortix Brace. And then you can get your max modifier in here, max modifier here, and max modifier with your Sanctified Remorseless. And with those 3 things, you're going to be pretty powerful, and you're just polishing up your pieces. Even before I got this fully anciented, like first couple of days of the season, it was still a really strong speed build, like hundreds and fives, with just the max modifiers and a couple of ancient pieces here or there. What else do we have? In terms of cooldown, we're going to rock with the Ingeum. I've actually just found a Primal Ingeum, so we can take this for a little spin, can't we? So this should give me a little bit more punch. But again, that was another non-ancient piece I had. I did actually think that I had an ancient one of those, so you'll have to forgive me. But in Germ obviously gives us 10 seconds off our skill cooldown, which is absolutely fantastic, because whenever we kill an elite pack, we do have to kill the full thing, all the little adds and minions. But the 10 seconds off the Wrath of the Berserker and Call of the Ancients is really handy. We also have the Zodiac for cooldown, so whenever we hit, we are taking procs. It'll basically pick one of these skills that we've got on cooldown at random and take a second off it every time you hit. So if you overspam your Furious Charge, if you overspam your Threatening Shout, you can put Zodiac procs into those rather than Wrath of the Berserker, Call of the Ancients, which is where you want them to go. So you need to be a little careful with that. When Ingerm is up and active, you of course have Perma Threatening Shout and Perma Furious Charge. If you don't, that's when you need to be a little bit more careful with it. We could take a Vigilante Belt, that would be another 8% cooldown roll. Tempted by it, but we've just gone for the Witching Hour because it gives attack speed and crit damage, both of which are very nice. We have got a Syndicote for extra fire damage and resource cost reduction on fire skills. Again, I could improve this piece a little bit. We've got the Leoric's Crown here for the extra cooldown. So this can be up to double to 25% cooldown. It's pretty good. You need Hammer of the Ancients and crit chance on here if you can. And then other than that, we've got cooldown everywhere. Now, when you actually do the kind of trash clear build, you want much more area damage. So I've got a separate weapon, I think, with area damage on for the trash clear. If you could get area damage and cooldown on your speed build, you would definitely go for it. But ultimately, if you can't, so be it. We've got the Blackthorn Trousers just to eke out a bit more fire damage. So, you know, again, Witch Doctor pants, if you happen to come across them and you're crazy and you're playing a Witch Doctor this season, the Swampland Waders, they would work as well. But until you get them, any kind of pants is fine. And to round out the insane toughness in the build, Stone Gauntlets, we get up to 250% armor. Obviously, all these Paragon points that we've got, all these augments, feed into armor. It gives us a lot of tankiness. The negative is that we get 0 attack speed if we allow it to stack and we're not CC immune. That's why I take the Ice Climbers. It takes off the CC immunity, so because we can't be frozen, it means there's no negative impact to the Stone Gauntlets. It's a weird interaction. It really shouldn't be like that. It doesn't make any sense to me, but it is how it is. Another item for consideration in that slot is the Illusory Boots. Doesn't look like I've extracted any so far this year. I know I have there. Moving through enemies unhindered is quite nice, but I think ultimately this is just a nice bit of insurance in case you get something wrong, you take a wrong turn on a map, you don't have Wrath of the Berserker, you don't have Call of the Ancients, and you want to make sure that you're not basically stopping, not attacking, because you will die basically. Let's roll up this Ingerm before we go and look at the skills and have a little talk-see about the build. Attack speed, we don't really want, I don't think. We've got quite a lot of that. We'll just go with main stat. Oh no, area damage. There we go. We'll take some area damage. Why not? Now, in terms of stats, cooldown both weapons, cooldown gloves, cooldown shoulders, fire on amulet braces, pants, and aside from that, cooldown, crit chance. I would go probably attack speed. You don't really need any resource cost reduction on your Zodiac. And obviously the last legendary gem here as well is the Gogok Swiftness. I just use this for more cooldown. At 15 stacks, it's 15%. We get some nice dodge chance, which is good. Bane of the Powerful would be the other option, and then of course a Bane of the Trapped gem as well. Now the squirts, if you get a shield pylon, gives us extra damage. It's double damage whilst we have a shield pylon up. If you don't get a shield pylon, this amulet is doing nothing for you, but for speeds over the course of rifts, more often than not you're going to get a shield pylon, so I do think it is worth taking. For the skills, Threatening Shout, Falter, I prefer this over a grouping skill. You could go for Wrenching Smash on Ground Stomp, something like that, to try and group stuff up, but I just like, with it being speeds and fast, you're looking to hit things a few times and they die, so I just go for Falter, 25% increased damage for 6 seconds. Hammer of the Ancient Smash, the fire rune does the most damage, so we go with this one. That's why we need fire damage on all our stuff. Battle Rage Bloodshed, we do the 20% critical hits, randomly every 1 second. Really big damage off that, which is very good. Wrath of the Berserker, we have all the runes, so we do get the 50% reduction from in damage for Striding Giant. Mainly we get the 50% increase damage from Insanity. We get all the attack speed, dodge chance, move speed, crit chance, all that good stuff off Wrath of the Berserker. Furious Charge, always with Barb, we take Merciless Assault near enough all the time, just to try and keep the cooldown and get this skill back further. More benefit to the Zodiac if this skill is not on cooldown. And then together as one on the Ancient's Fury, bearing in mind we also get the Ancient's Fury rune on those shoulders as well. Passives wise, Boon of Bulkathos, mandatory because without Wrath of the Berserker up we do no damage. Nerves of Steel, you can take this one off, definitely, because the follower has Cheat Death. Rampage is great for speeds because a 25% increase in strength when you get stacked up really does hit pretty hard. Rift Guardian is a little bit slow, so Ruthless seems to make sense. When the enemy health drops below 30%, we get 40% more damage. If you are going to take another one, there are two I think that are good. Berserker Age, 25% damage at max fury. You're near enough always at max fury. That is a good one. And we also have Brawler for more damage to the Rift. So I'd say probably Berserker Age would be what I would pick, because I think actually the extra damage, if I can guarantee it at some point, it would be with the Rift Guardian kill. For the follower, Token that they can't die, Nems, Flavour of Time, and an Oculus is obviously all I've set up on this. I should gear this chick out. I really should. I've got follower gear. I really should on my Necro make some better stuff for her, because the extra cooldown would be handy. I've got 6.3%. If I got that up to 10%, these runs would be fractionally smoother. You could try the Gain All Skills token, but you'd have to set her up on a build that would allow her to not die. I haven't been bothered. Maybe I will at some point. And then other than that, I go for the Cheat Death rather than the attack speed, albeit it would be fine. Now, the second weapon actually is a little bit of a consideration, because the other thing that we can take is an Echoing Fury, just for crazy attack speed. I like, for speeds though, the Ingerm, just simply because it does allow us a little bit more wiggle room on the skills. So we'll do a quick blast of the shards, just so we've got some to pick up. 115 seems a comfortable-ish level for this. It's not necessarily the fastest, because again, you know, we are a bit Ingerm linked. It's not like massive screen clear. But when we go in, what we want to do is activate Band of the Might, pop our 2 damage buffs, and then all we need to do is make sure that we keep hitting to keep proccing this Zodiac. If we stop attacking and we stop hitting stuff, you'll note that we get the Wrath of the Berserker and the Ancients not up, and then we do no damage. Right, where did that guy go? There he is. So single target is sucky, but it is what it is. So something like this is a bad map for this, because there is the potential to get lost, which is very bad, and the density is not good. On the other end of the spectrum, of course, would be something fairly open, something like Festering Woods, which would give us a really nice time of it. And so you are capable of fast clears, but you're much more map dependent, I think, than on other builds. But as you can see, when you're elite hopping, if you can keep your Ingerm up, you've got no real issues with doing damage, because Wrath of the Berserker and the Ancients are kind of always there. And I just pop them as soon as they're back. I just pop them again, just to make sure that we're clearing. Always with damage. At some point you might notice the enemies stop dying. If that's the case, just have a little glance down at your bar. Make sure you've got both of your buffs. Again, stuff like Ghosts is a little bit of a pain. That's where the whirlwindy type power would be a little better, because we'd be able to like suck these guys together.
That's what she said!
Instead of letting them run away. But still not too bad. In terms of pylons, obviously Shield's great from extra damage, Power's great for extra damage, Conduit is always great. Speed, I think, is probably the least that we need for this. Cooldown pylon's obviously amazing, because then you've got no worries at all about your uptime on Wrath of the Berserker. And there you go. Ask and you shall receive. We get ourselves a Condi. Now, if you really want to make sure that you're maxing out the damage, you want to be getting off your Threatening Shout Falter on your fire cycle for Convention. You've probably picked up from the gameplay that I'm not really terribly bothered about that. We're just chucking it out every so often. But again, if you do overuse it, you will notice that your Wrath of the Berserker, Call of the Ancients, is not back, and that is sad times. I think I was just pounding the ground there in Barb Rage. But yeah, not the greatest of maps, but still a decent run. We've hopped from elite to elite fairly well. I mean, this thing's devastating in groups. If you've got a Z Barb grouping stuff up for you, it is a lot of fun. And there we go, right at the very end we get our cooldown pylon, which I'm struggling to kick. Guardian will be a little slow, I think. Although, do we still have the power? No. So, some other builds, speed builds would, you know, crush this. Like what are we playing? We're playing the Shadow Impale DH mostly. Boss is just vaporized. If you want to vaporize the boss with this build, you need something with adds, or you need to have basically a power pylon, because otherwise you've got like a 10-second-ish kind of wait. So that's the build. Is a lot of fun. You know, once I get these last two things done, I'm going to slap an augment on this. Once I'm done filming here for another 125, going to try and tweak it out and get it a little better. So, you know, potentially if you really played till the end of the season and got your main stat up to ridiculous figures and your gems all up to like 150s, maybe you could get 120 solo speeds out of it. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I like the shockwave. You know, it'd be nice maybe if that power could stay, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed the video. Be back with some more video guides soon. Take it easy, guys. Peace.